Federal investigators believe the Ferguson, Missouri Police Department is racially biased.
A mistrial has been called in the murder case against a white University of Cincinnati police officer charged in the shooting death of a black man during a traffic stop.
He's making national headlines. Former police officer Michael Slager now sentenced for the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man after a traffic stop.
Just warn our viewers, what you are about to see is disturbing video of this police officer shooting and killing this 17-year-old teenager.
Right, a Tulsa police officer who shot and killed an unarmed black man last September, now breaking her silence.
Two black men, Rufus and his brother Devin, were pulled over in Greensboro, North Carolina for minor infractions including expired plates. What should have been a routine stop turned violent quickly. Rufus, not knowing whether or not to get out of the car, stopped his brother from opening the door. The police officer tasered Rufus, who fell down, paralyzed by shock. The officer proceeded to drag him out along the asphalt. Rufus came out of the encounter with 4 traffic tickets, a charge of assaulting a police officer, which was later dropped, a chipped tooth, and a split upper lip that needed 5 stitches. Years later, Rufus naturally turns away from approaching police cars, while his brother Devin will not leave home without a handheld video camera and a business card for a toll-free legal help. These brothers are not the only people who feel unsafe around the police. Most Americans have doubts about the police as years of turmoil over the deaths of unarmed minorities now strikes fear throughout civilians.
Late one Wednesday night in Montana, near the border of Canada, friends Anna Suda and Mimi Hernandez were making a midnight run to a gas station to pick up eggs and milk. Both are Mexican-American and speak fluent Spanish. While waiting in line, they exchanged some words in Spanish and were overheard by a Border Patrol agent. The Border Patrol agent approached the women and requested to see their IDs. Suda, becoming increasingly uncomfortable with the situation, began recording the encounter.
So can you tell us in the video, please, why you ask us for our IDs, please?
Ma'am, the reason I asked you for your ID is because I came in here and I saw that you guys are speaking Spanish, which is very unheard of up here.
Okay.
Just run your name and date of birth.
We have absence, he said. Just because our profile, right?
No.
Racial profile.
It has nothing to do with that.
No.
It's the fact that it has to do with you guys speaking Spanish in the store.
Spanish in the store.
In the state where it's predominantly English speaking.
Okay. Sounds good.
Can we have your name also?
Yes, sir. It is Agent O'Neill.
We just come here to the store to buy milk and eggs. And this Border Patrol, he just asked for ID because we have an accent and we speak Spanish.
Suda asked the officer if they are being racially profiled, to which the agent replied with no. Despite complying with the officer and showing their IDs, Suda and Mimi were held in the parking lot for 35 to 40 minutes. Suda and Hernandez were shaken and upset by the encounter. Suda explained she does not believe speaking Spanish is a crime. The embarrassment and sadness that resulted from the encounter extended to Suda's young 7-year-old daughter, who asked her mother if she should no longer speak Spanish in public. Suda responded to her daughter saying, "No, you be proud. You are smart. You speak 2 languages." This uncertainty of whether or not to express one's culture is a sentiment shared by many minorities in America.
Theoretically, Rufus, Devin, Anna, and Mimi should have been protected against racial profiling by their constitutional amendments. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. However, the Supreme Court's interpretation of these amendments has given the police a wide discretion to stop, question, frisk, and use excessive force. Using this discretion, many police officers stop minorities even when they show essentially no indication of wrongdoing. The Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment states that no state shall deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Thus, when a police officer stops a minority, they should follow the same procedures as when they stop a white driver. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Data, anecdotes, and eyewitness accounts show that officers are more lenient with white motorists, giving warnings instead of tickets, whereas officers are much more aggressive with black drivers, as Rufus and Devin experienced. States recognize the problem, and some are taking action to prevent further cases of racial profiling. Rhode Island and Connecticut have recently revised police practices in an effort to make a change. Rhode Island has revamped law enforcement training, reinforcing the importance in proper education and hiring qualified officers. These changes show improvements as officers are more judicious. Connecticut has increased their focus on research and discovering when, where, and why racial profiling occurs. The state collected data on whether minorities were stopped more frequently in the daytime when it was easier to detect the driver's race. The data shows that differences in the treatment of motorists based on race is undeniable. The state of Connecticut is now pushing to explain why racial profiling is occurring, cross-referencing data from other similar areas to limit any bias. Connecticut even instituted a new change where officers are now required to give every stopped motorist a card explaining how to file a complaint if the motorist feels as though they were mistreated. However, it is not enough for just 2 states to do more research or make a few changes.
Police officers have a duty to protect the people from crime. Therefore, they are rewarded for the number of arrests they make. Because of this, they often target the easy people to arrest, which happen to be the low-income civilians that pose the lowest threat to the officers. Black people fall into this category as they typically live in poor urban communities. These communities are known for having high crime rates as well as drug activity. The police, trying to stay on top of drug activity, tend to focus on black communities. However, this does not justify the rates of racial profiling that occur during police stops. The police provide a public service, so they should have to publish data of their traffic stops and be held accountable by the public. Currently, the police publishes very little data about arrests and traffic stops. Publishing more of this data will increase transparency, something that is desperately needed as a result of the growing distrust between citizens and police. In addition, releasing more data to the public will allow for more people of all races to see the damage of racial profiling. By increasing data and overall public awareness, there will be more informed citizens to vote for candidates that support legislation to end racial profiling. It's also important to spread awareness outside of just the black community. A unified effort across all races and ethnicities would hold influence over Congress as they are the voters. Racial profiling is an issue that will continue to occur if action is not taken.
An important part of any successful policy change would be aid from interest groups. Specifically, when discussing the issue of racial profiling, the American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU, could be helpful. The American Civil Liberties Union is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to defend and preserve the individual rights and liberties guaranteed to every person in this country by the Constitution and the laws of the United States. The ACLU works to help individuals negatively impacted by a wide variety of issues, including racial profiling. Their work encompasses initiatives in legislation, public education, and advocacy. Their efforts provide individuals who have been victims of racial profiling with a voice to bring awareness to this problem and gain justice. It will not be easy to stop racial profiling, as this issue stems from years of unfair treatment. However, the best solution will arise from a unified front of all ethnicities as we continue to fight for equality in every aspect of life.